Gracias. Thank you very much.
I'm the first. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the nice kind. You find all information about me, and one is most What you didn't mention, I was the professor of Zoran when Zoran was university student. He was my student. Okay, and few days ago, Zoran sent me this book, and I will talk a little bit about this book. I'm one of the, I read all the Zoran books. Zoran, this is fourth or fifth book?
It is fourth book now.
Fourth book, okay, I didn't miss the one. Okay, and first, this book is very interesting for me when I read the title of the book. It's The Architecture of the Self, a practical guide to self-understanding and development. I know Zoran for, I don't know, 20 years or maybe a little bit less. And I know that probably I will, when I read this title, I will think that Zoran has something to do with this book. And I start to read this book. First, upon reading Zoran Practical Guide to Self-Understanding and Development, 4 books immediately come to my mind. First book is Plato, not Prozac, Applying Philosophy to Everyday Problems. In these books, like you know, Louis Marinov advocating the use of philosophical consulting as an alternative to complement for traditional psychiatric medicine and therapy. The idea is that many personal and existential issues can be better addressed through philosophical inquiry rather than medicine alone. Second book, when I read the Zoran book, what followed my mind is Alain de Botton, The Consultation of Philosophy. Botton explores how the idea of 6 philosophers, if I remember well, Socrates, Epicurus, Seneca, Nietzsche, Montaigne, Schopenhauer, how they can help us deal with common problems like unpopularity, poverty, frustration, and etc. Third book is a little bit different. What is falling on my mind when I read this chapter of Zoran book is The Art of Happiness by Dalai Lama and Howard Cutler. Yes, because in this book, Dalai Lama teaching was insight from Western psychology. This book provides practical advice on how to achieve lasting happiness and deal with life difficulties. Fourth book that I fall on my mind is the happiness, I think is the happiness hypothesis, finding modern truth in ancient world, in which book Jonathan Haidt examines ideas from both ancient philosophy and modern psychology to understand what truly makes people happy. Haidt explores concepts for Eastern and Western thought and how they can be applied to everyday life. The Zoran book is comparable to the after-mentioned books, but yet these books, Zoran books, remind me of this book, but this book, Zoran book, is original work in its own right. But of course, like I said, this is this original Zoran work, but I think that he has influence or he's similar like these famous authors. But I like the Zoran book very much. In the beginning of the Zoran book, reminds me, like I always say, the book, The Happiness Hypothesis, Finding Modern True in Ancient Wisdom, because Zoran at the beginning referred to the very origin, to the ancient wisdom, and locate the 3 ancient yourself. 3 ancient yourself. Question yourself. I repeat, question yourself. Second is the take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And the most hard work, what we need to do, like people, it's know yourself. I repeat one more time, know yourself. We have these 3 issues. What I can strongly connected with all part of the Zoran book. It's to question yourself, take care of yourself, and know yourself. This is, and Zoran made it that the reader, when you read this book, in almost every chapter, you can question yourself, or Zoran ask yourself to question yourself. He tell you how to care of yourself, and he I can say, show you a path how you know yourself better, nocete ipsum. From the outset, it's evident that it's not typical self-help book, not. Rather, it is a more substantial work that employs a more profound and philosophical oriented approach, drawing inspiration from the ancient to the modern philosophical authors. There's three questions, like I mentioned: question yourself, take care of yourself, know yourself, is it central to the book's argument. It could be argue that the book encourages readers to engage in self-reflection, to think critically about themselves, and to take responsibility for their own well-being. Ultimately, it encourages readers to confront the most challenging aspect of self-knowledge. But this, like I said, this book is very original, and Zoran talked to you directly with a lot of interesting examples, but also with examples with ancient philosophy, almost ancient philosophy. It's like sometimes it's very, first I will call this philosophical book. With what I like in this book also is this personal view, the personal examples, what my former student Zoran use in this. And one of the question is, how does Zoran facilitate the process of self-knowledge in others? For me, my favorite part of this book, and I think it's the longest section of the book, it's entitled The House. The house. In this section, Zoran denounced the specific aspects of the house that he compares to human life and the fundamental aspects of human life itself. It's great. It's a great idea. The text starts with a section entitled Foundations, and after that, in the end, he had one chapter with the Latin. Foundations, I must say, in Latin is fontis. It's foundation. It's that we start to build the house. In each sector, then in each subchapter, the author, the Zoran, describes his experience with the various parts of the house, connecting each part of the house with some important aspect of human life. He does so in a manner that is both philosophically and instructively for the reader, encourage them to reflect on their own lives. The chapters are presented in order in which they appear in the text. Is after the forms of foundation, they have facade, it has doorsteps, doors, windows, living room, dining room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, basement, and the roof, And all of this part of the house is a part of something or our life, and very strong connect to the philosophical thinking of life. It's not my intention to provide a detailed account of each chapter. Therefore, I encourage the reader to engage with this book read this book. But as Zoran claims, sometimes philosophy, in one chapter, I think is a kitchen, I don't remember, can be very hard to your stomach or hard to swallow. And I know the philosophy is not easy. Philosophy is very hard. And when he is in the kitchen, I will do some example from book just to let you feeling how is it to read this book. When he write about the kitchen, he write, I quote, "Kitchen, yes, God damn it, yes. We throw the garbage out. Well, at least if you want a house to smell nice or not let it pile up, right? One should throw the garbage out regularly. It's a simple release system. Do not let the garbage to pile up. Sure, one will have to deal with the garbage all the time. We have it more and more. Plastic, containers, bottles, papers. We throw things into the bin several times a day. The very same thing happens in our mind all the time." End of the quote. Okay, it's very interesting. It is integrating to complete the thoughts we discard, to let go, and the ideas what we react. Just like, garbage from the kitchen, what we need to buy. One might inquire whatever we recycle our thoughts, whether we agree with the other arguments in a logical manner, on the reason are circumstances under which we reject some. What opinions are appropriate for this rejection? Zoran here thinks and give you a tool to think how much garbage we need to throw away. We think a lot of ideas in a day, and the kitchen is the place where we need this figuratively to throw away these thoughts, what are not argumentatively, what are not have logical way. In the second manner, the Zoran said, people think logically, think, and the thoughts would not have arguments throw away. There are also interesting story in the bathroom, and this is very interesting also, but there is a lot of interesting story in the book connected like here with the real life and the real experience in life, and with this Zoran, when Zoran told you what to do, how to show you, to feel yourself, to discover yourself, to gnosis tapes. The second example is from the bathroom. Okay, I remember, she said, quote, Zoran, telling me how, when he was younger, his family was among the first ones in the village who built the bathroom inside the house. His grandmother lived with them, and she was shocked by that. How on earth are you supposed to do nasty things which one does in a bathroom inside the house? She asked him. And here's very nice. This is a usual story when people, they're also, like Zoran writes, people before 50, 70 years ago had bathroom, not in a house, in the house, and it's really naturally to have bathroom inside the house or outside the house. It's very interesting, but if we go connect to our mind, and this is very interesting, like I said, this naturally leads to the question of what is appropriate to do, where and how, what we need to do in the kitchen. This is all figurative. If we combine different actions, will the combined action have the same effect? Is it the same thing if I do something here in the kitchen, I'm now in the kitchen, or outside? This same action have same effect if I do with one person and another person? This is all the questions that arise through the whole Zoran House series. That's what I like the most in this book. When you read it, you have a lot of question of your mind, you question yourself, and in a lot of examples, Zoran will lead you to question yourself about yourself. That's why I like all, and I almost spend all my minutes. I will finish very first, sorry, because this house, it's very great, and I propose everybody to read it, because this book will motivate you to think about yourself. After the part it's called house, there is interesting chapters and interesting concepts. First, I think is a sixth concept, Greek concept, paresia, etc., etc., in which, when you read it, you think about these very important points, very important concepts, important concept for your life. After the six concept, there is another 5 Latin concept, very important to your life. And this is, like I said, all together We have a lot of, at the end, if I remember, there is a writing about you, journal, writing journal. And it's like, for the end, I will stop now, sorry. I recognize this book for everybody to read. It's very readable. It's have a philosophical part, it's have a life part, and it's even have philosophical part. Like I said in the beginning, and this is the most important for me in this book, because these books motivate you to question yourself, to take care of yourself, and to know yourself better. Thank you very much, and thank you, Zoran, for this book.
Gracias, and thank you, Giovanni. I would like to thank you publicly for everything that you did for this book, from the beginning to the very end now that it is published, because you really did a lot of work as editor on this particular project. And I'm really proud that we can make this project happen. And it's really a good start of our cooperation, and I hope many future projects as well. And I would like to thank Bruno for this wonderful presentation. I was really afraid of what he was going to say, because we did not agree on anything before this presentation. So this is a really nice surprise to me. And I would like, first of all, to thank everybody who is, first of all, watching us now live and who joined, and also to those who will maybe later on watch the video of this presentation. I will try to be short in order not to take a lot of our time, but there are a few things that I would like to say about this book, not really wanting to go into the details. I think that Bruno did really wonderful job with this, describing especially the first chapter of the book. I tried to divide the book in 3 different chapters, which are connected, but which offer various approaches to philosophical practice about the self. As Bruno mentioned, the 3 key issues of this book that actually this book addresses is trying to find the answers to the centuries-old philosophical questions from ancient Greece, to know yourself, to question yourself, and to take care of yourself. And this is actually one of my personal favorites in philosophy, or in the history of philosophy. I was largely influenced by Bruno in my younger life, and I still am, as he mentioned that he was my professor at the university a long time ago. We will not mention how long time ago, but his approach is also really close, or actually deals with philosophical practice, and he is the one who introduced me to this kind of practice, and also philosophical tools which we can use in our daily life. And to those who maybe don't know me very well, I have been dealing with this practice for the last almost 15 years. So with this book, I wanted to summarize in one place the experience that I had, the issues that I have come up with in my work, and some also personal things that are related to philosophy. And what I wanted to offer is what I actually do in my practice. I usually do philosophical activities with those who are not professionally trained in philosophy, who do not have a degree in philosophy, and who find philosophy interesting, or challenging, or who just are really curious about philosophical issues. And I try to do it in a very, I would say, lighter way, not going into history of philosophy or history of ideas, but rather dealing with those tools, techniques, or activities that can really be helpful to everyone, no matter their background or their previous involvement in philosophy. And so this book is also one attempt to put some of the main issues or the main questions that I've been working on in just one place where it could be available to those actually who are not professionally trained in philosophy or in history of philosophy, and to offer them that kind of path which would help them to work on themselves in a more meaningful way, or in a way that is in a way structured enough for them to try to understand it. It was my intention to write as simple as possible, to be as understandable as possible. But in doing so, I have emphasized, I think, many times that this work that you are going to be doing with yourself is not easy. It's actually really hard, and it's not a simple medicine or a simple solution that I offer you a book of about 150 pages and you are fine, everything is perfect, you are happy with your life. No chance. No, I think nobody can do that, and if they claim they can, I think they are lying to you. You will have to try it for yourself. So this book is not in this way trying to give you answers, but rather trying to motivate you to ask yourself relevant questions, or trying to learn by yourself how to ask those relevant questions, which will then help you to mm, move along, to solve something, to deal with something in a better way, or to just maybe find a different kind of perspective or a better understanding in this relationship toward yourself, but also to others that are around you, whether it's your family, friends, your co-workers, your school friends, or anybody else in the world, be it the world itself. I think that philosophy actually helps us a lot in dealing with such things because it offers exactly those tools. And my intention was to combine those tools in three different settings. So the first would be, as Bruno mentioned, the metaphor of a house, in which you should imagine yourself as a house. And for everybody of us who live in a house or in an apartment or in a home, you know yourself that you have to take good care of it in order for it to be in shape, be in order. The same goes for your own self, for what is inside you, whether you call it a soul, a mind, brain, your body, whatever you want to call it. If you take good care of it, you will be rewarded and you will have you can go forward, you can advance in your life, become a better person. But also, if you neglect your house and you leave it dirty and leave it to rot, then that's also some kind of an aspect that is connected to our own self. If you neglect yourself, if you do not take good care of yourself, you can also become a bad person, someone who is not satisfied with yourself, someone who doesn't take good care of yourself, and who in general is really unhappy with his life. So this metaphor, I think, can help you, leading you through various rooms or spaces within the house to take good care of yourself. And each room represents one aspect of our own self. And the book offers you a lot of questions that you can ask yourself in order to try to better understand what happens inside and how you can move forward to this goal of becoming a better person. The reason that I said this task is not really easy and that this book does not really offer you quick solutions is because this work on your house or on yourself is really a lifelong process. You are not the same self as you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, as well as you won't be the same in 10 years' time or 20 years from now. And the same goes for your house also. You have to take the trash regularly, you have to take a bath regularly, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to rest, you have to work. And this also involves the self. You have to work all the time in order to become a better version of yourself, of course, if that is your goal. If not, you can just relax and do nothing, and nothing also will happen. The second chapter offers you more of ancient approach or ancient Greek approach to techniques which can help you achieve those goals. So after you read the first chapter, you are left with a lot of questions. The second chapter offers some of the approaches which can help you to get the answers or to achieve the goals that you are set out to do. So there are some examples from Pythagorean philosophy, Stoic philosophy, Platonic philosophy, or any other Greek attempts to relate philosophy to a sort of a medicine. The Stoics have this example, or also a metaphor of what medicine is for the body, philosophy is for the soul or for the mind. And they have a lot of exercises which you can do, and these exercises are put in a different setting and they are presented to you in order for you to be able to do them almost daily. The third chapter of the book actually is more of a Socratic or a Platonic philosophy, which explains to you in quite detail what it means to take care of yourself, what it means to know yourself, and what it means to question yourself, and also offers you various ways on how to do it. The main idea behind the book is that it is not even though if not it's not a really large book. It's 150 pages long, and so for the people who read regularly, it's not really a large book. It could be read in, I don't know, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, depending on your pace. But the idea is that once you finish the book, you can start the work. And then you can go back to this book at some later point in your life, or in 1 month after you have read it, or in several months, several years. It is a book that is supposed to be on your shelf and that is supposed to question you about yourself. So it's a book that's there to motivate you to ask those relevant questions, or also to learn how to ask those relevant questions, which can then help you. At one point, I called this book wannabe self-help guide, because it's not a really self-help book in a modern or contemporary sort of way. We are a little bit critical of self-help books, and because we have, of course, in philosophy various reasons for that. But writing a wannabe self-help book for me was a task to which relates to offering you some really serious background for a serious work, and not doing it the easy way. So this is a really slow pace book that can be read, at least it was my goal to be like that, that can be read throughout your life, and that you can start reading it or read it when you are 18 years old, and then when you are 25, you will still be left with pretty much the same questions about your life. Of course, when you are 35 or 40 years old, you will have another set of questions, and then you can also use it in this kind of different setting that you have found yourself in, or different life situation. And this is the thing about the self. I think that in philosophy, it is really hard to find one general definition of the self that every philosopher, every philosophical school, every professor can agree. We have different views on it, we have different opinions about it, and so it's always hard to find a general term for it that everybody can agree. But I think that everybody can agree that the self is a changing idea or a changing notion, and that throughout life, this is the same for every self. It changes throughout life depending on life's circumstances, your own growth, or your own relationship toward yourself, toward others, and how the world around you develops, evolves, or finishes after all. This book is actually about this self that grows, that evolves, that gets better, hopefully, and it offers you tools, techniques, and ways to become that better self. So it is the title itself, the architecture of the self, is connected to this metaphor of the house, that you are from the foundation building your own house, building your own self, and depending how you build those foundations, then you will also add other elements, rooms, spaces, the roof, the kitchen, whatever you actually need, and which everything is really the best for you. So this is the book about building yourself, and grows from this metaphor forward. Uh, just shortly, as I said, offering you those tools on how to maintain this house and how to better understand how to fix some problems within the house when they need fixing. I sincerely hope that I have achieved my goal, and I also invite the readers to maybe give us also feedback after they read the book. And um, yeah, that's it, I think, for the end. If you like it, give us some feedback, and let us know what you think about it. I will be really delighted to get to know the readers and how they respond to the book, and whether the goal is achieved, whether this book really can help those who need to work on themselves. That's it from me. Thank you. Well, I think maybe precisely because of that, because we live in a globalized world, the self can be left neglected, or it can be uh, understand more difficulty in relation to others. We live in a world of globalization and social media where we are, I think, every day bombarded with the images of the others, from the social media, their lifestyle, their own self that is presented to us. This is what I call the facade of the house. This is the appearance, how we look, how we dress, how we do makeup or whatever. And usually kids, young people, when they see this, they want to become like someone else. They want to imitate those people. I think in this setting, it is really important to provide to uh, readers of the books, and also to those who want to study the self, ways in which they can better understand their own self. Because I learned this from, actually, from Bruno's workshops, especially the workshops on defining things, on how we define uh, some notions. So when we do these kind of workshops, there is also a task to define what is happiness. And so it is really hard to define what happiness is personally for ourselves, but also hard to define it, what happiness means in terms of our society. Does it mean that I'm happy if I have a good car, a good job, a good apartment, or am I happy with, I don't know, just walking the dog on the beach, simple things, whatever. So I think in a globalized world, in a world of media and propaganda, and now, unfortunately, new wars, I think it's probably more than in the last 50 or 70 years, important to get to know what yourself is, or who yourself is, rather than going to others and trying to imitate them.
What? Can you just repeat? What? Okay. Idea of the Zoran book. Yeah, but I think it's most important book, like Zoran now said, why it's important to know yourself. It's most important idea is to get yourself better. Every when you read this book, you will think about yourself, and you will, if you read it carefully, you will know yourself you better, little by little. Like Zoran said, this is not a book. It's that when you read it, you will be happy for the end of your life. No, this is just book who makes you think about yourself, and this is the first step that you be satisfied with yourself. This is my opinion. There is no magic book, they read and everything will be fine. But thinking, when you're starting, maybe your life will be in some way harder, but with much quality than before. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.